What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazzy Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with the official Cali Pro men's open bodybuilding list. So the two standout guys that you're gonna see in this lineup, that is Regan and Sazan Hirati. But I must say, do not overlook two of the former Olympians. First of all, Bruno Santos, the guy from Brazil, who by the way was kind of a surprise here, since he was initially planning to go for Tampa Pro, and that is still a couple of months away. But based on the fact that his physique has changed so much and so fast, it's great to see him jumping into an earlier show and go for California Pro. And then we have Patrick Moore, who we all know has also stepped on the Olympia stage multiple times in his career. And also he's a guy who has won California Pro in the past. But I must say, there was just no way he would have made any size improvements from the Arnold, Ohio this year to now, where he's competitive against all these bigger guys, especially Regan and also Sazan Hirati. So Patrick's story has been the same in the past few years. Too big for classic physique and not big enough for the men's open bodybuilding. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for a guy like Regan to secure his Olympia spot, and that too very early in the season. Dive right back into another off-season, although it's gonna be a mini off-season, but still plenty of time to make some more improvements till the Olympia this year. And let's just say he comes in the way he came in for the New York Pro, especially how he looked when he first came out for the prejudging. I must say he's gonna be way too big and way too wide for all the competition here. Now it was extremely close between him and Michael Krizzle, specifically at the prejudging, because there was a difference of only 1 point between both these guys, as Regan was looking a lot harder and fuller. Now, if we look at Regan's physique from the Olympia back in 2023 versus the one that he just presented at the New York Pro, he covered a lot of ground in terms of the overall size, and all him and Stefan have to do is to make sure that this peak goes perfectly for him, and he's gonna be in the driving seat to win this one. So Sazan Hirati is the second most dangerous guy in this show. The fact is he almost took out a guy like Andrew Jack earlier this year, and that was at FIBO Germany. In fact, he was leading after the prejudging. So all of these other guys, they cannot afford to come in off, because it was Sazan's ultimate conditioning that made him stand out so much, even against a guy like Andrew Jack. So the game plan by Sazan and his coach, Chris Azito, that did not go in their favor at the New York Pro, because they tried to come in a bit more fuller, with a bit more size, and that came at the expense of conditioning, and that is why he dropped down to 5th place. So Sazan can be the one to challenge a guy like Regan for Cali Pro title here. So the one aspect that puts Regan at a huge advantage over all these other guys, that is his aesthetics. There is nobody in this lineup who can challenge a guy like Regan in that regard. Now the Brazilian mass monster, Bruno Santos, who by the way is working with Milos, that was the case last year. The fact is, Bruno Santos is a very muscular bodybuilder. He's very huge, insane size, but he doesn't have the best of shape. And we know he isn't an aesthetic guy, especially in comparison to a guy like Regan. And the only one guy who is big enough as well as very aesthetic, that is another guy from Brazil, Leandro Perez, who is doing his 3rd show of the season, and he was definitely improved from Arnold Brazil to the Pittsburgh Pro, where we saw him standing next to a guy like Nick Walker, and he held his own pretty damn well, especially in terms of the size. So, no Bonac, no Nick Walker, and no Michael Krizzle at this year's Cali Pro. So all these guys, they are all gonna get a very fair look by the judges. So Nick and Bonac skipping California Pro, that makes all the sense in the world. But why didn't Michael Krizzle go for this title, as this could have been his show to win? Well, only him and his coach George Farah, they know the reason. Possibly they might be going for the Emperor Classic spin. So what do you guys think? Can Regan and Stefan bring it home at this year's Cali Pro and qualify for the Olympia? So based on that 5 days out update that Regan put out, he looks pretty awesome. Next up, we have today's physique update from Rubiel Mosquera, aka Nexella. So the reason he isn't making any announcement about him doing the upcoming Dubai Pro, that is because of the doubt, in case he doesn't feel ready. Because Dubai Pro is now less than 5 weeks away, and I must say there is a high chance that he might pull out of this one, because we are now about a month out from this year's Dubai Pro. And Rubiel does look impressive, but I'm afraid if that is his current condition, there is a high likelihood that he won't be able to pull it off. He simply won't be able to get ready in time, and he won't be able to get in that kind of condition that will allow him to fight for those top spots, especially against guys like Behrooz, Nathan D'Asha, and possibly Martin Fitzwater. So last year, he prepped for Dubai Pro at the O2 gyms in Kuwait, and he was there at 14 weeks out mark. And even that wasn't enough time for him to get truly shredded and ripped to the bone the way he was at his pro debut in Prague. And yes, I know, he kind of felt sick leading into that show. And even though he came in a bit more bigger, a bit more fuller, but in terms of condition, he was better in Prague compared to Dubai Pro last year. So let's just hope that my analysis, that is wrong, and Rubiel shows up in multiple shows, or at Dubai Pro at the very least, because there are multiple shows happening in the month of June, and also in July. And I sincerely hope that he delivers one hell of a package, because that guy has so much size, so much mass, and so much freak factor. And even with his weak shoulders, he's gonna be very good on that Olympia stage if he qualifies, especially if he brings the condition. So Dorian Yates raised a very legit question about Rubiel last year. Does he want to be a big freak? Is his goal is to be known for about his freak factor and about his neck? Or does he wanna be a proper bodybuilder, an awesome IFBB pro? Because if the latter is his goal, he needs to go into that bodybuilder's mindset, and that too all year round. Now let's take a look at the recent physique update from the defending Dubai Pro champion Behrooz, the Iranian phenomenon. So this guy doesn't play around when he gets into his zone. And again, I'm gonna say there is no one touching him in the battle of conditioning and getting shredded. And the fact is, along with his ability to get very dry and very hot, he has an awesome shape. One of the best aesthetics in the men's open right now, with that super small waistline, very round and very 3D and very bubbly looking delts. Plus he has those thick wide lats, and that is why he's able to beat majority of these guys in that symmetry round. So we were supposed to have an answer regarding his US visa, but unfortunately we still haven't heard anything in that regard. So Behrooz is gonna come into this show like it's the Olympia for him. It's 100% gonna be a very improved version of Behrooz, because he had a very big offseason after winning Dubai Pro. And even though he was in prep for the Olympia last year, but afterwards he was again in the offseason. Now on a side note, it is actually very surprising, and I must say also very disappointing for the organizers and the promoters of Dubai Pro, that for the amount of prize money they are giving out, which is $140,000, and that is for the first place in the men's open, 50k for second, and 25k for third. It's kind of shocking to see that not even a single guy from the Olympia last year or from the Olympia top 10, they have committed to this show as of right now. So that is the second time Arnold Schwarzenegger has been called out this year. First, it was Ali Bilal, and now it's the 8 times Miss Olympia champion, Linda Murray. So she was very outraged on Arnold Schwarzenegger for not putting up more money for the women's division at the Arnold, and more specifically, for increasing the prize money for the men's divisions only. First of all, I must say, she got her facts wrong regarding the prize money that was given out for the third place finisher, which was Andrew Jack, who by the way corrected her himself, and that too in a style. And the fans are quite shocked at all the double standards, that if she cares about the women's division and all the female athletes getting more prize money, if that is what she's striving for, why didn't she prioritize women in her own shoe, which by the way was the Atlanta Pro last year? And even the 212 division, they got double the amount of prize money compared to what the women got in her own shoe. And secondly, as fans, we have kind of a similar answer towards anyone who goes out there and criticizes Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you do not like the way that show being run by him, if you don't like the prize money or Arnold's comments, you just don't compete in his show. It's as simple as that. And as far as Linda Moore is saying that women have bigger following, if you are so confident, then those numbers are going to translate into more ticket sales. The fact is, if you try to have the women's only Olympia, you're going to see the ticket sales yourself. So a good perspective of this entire thing should be given here. Why do the men's open bodybuilding, they are the last one to step on the Olympia stage, or any bodybuilding show for that matter? The thing is, even Dan Solomon, the Olympia president, he said that the seats would be empty if the men's open guys they go first. because the majority of the interest that lies in the men's open category, and this goes for every professional sport out there. So these are my 2 cents. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.